Hello and welcome into the Sorare Data Show. I'm Andrew Laird. You can find me as Lairdinho on Sorare, joined once again by Sean Newsham, PSU2. Today to talk about the details we are still waiting for. Yeah,
Laird, so what did you tell me? I believe it was on the show after the announcement came out when I asked, what do you...
Don't even finish. I know exactly what you're going to say, and I'll just answer the question. I said with full confidence that we would absolutely have all of the prize pool details before the end of February, which is what they said they would do. And Sean, I couldn't have been more wrong.
Yeah, it didn't look great for you. Yeah.
Taking a big giant L on this one.
You took a big giant L. At least you admit it. Usually you just like are stubborn and don't admit something. So that's a positive.
Also true.
There's a I mean, there was no...
There are way too many receipts on that one. I can't.
Yeah, like, you had no option. Like, you're taking an L here, and it was just going to happen.
My hashtag trust the team got the best of me that day, and
yeah. Just to be clear, I was pretty confident that it wouldn't happen, but I kept my mouth shut because, you know, it could have. I thought it was like 30-70, right? Like, I thought there was a good possibility because, like, at the time of the announcement, they had like 4 weeks.
So, yeah, exactly.
And you would think they would have already have like figured it out, and they just had to iron a couple kinks out, but that did not look like that is the case.
Do I even want to ask this question? Do we even want to talk about why we think they're late? Hold on. Thanks everyone for coming in. Toby's in first. Good afternoon. So rare, Juju and Jack podium for the first time. Feel crazy emotional. Congratulations there. Sean ZM Star says, which pool is looking better for Champ America Rare, the bottom of tier 3 or the top of tier 4? Because that's where they're sitting right now. To be honest, they're probably the same.
Yeah, they're probably the same. I don't think it matters anymore. Like, unless you're in like tier 0 or tier 1, like it really doesn't matter. There's some wonky ass cards at the top of tier 1. I'll tell you that.
Good and bad.
Good and bad.
Tier 2 that were there tier 2s that were weird. Like
no,
there were
tier 1. It was like where Brecalo was, and like you have like Kai Wagner, and then you have like Brecalo, and it's like
right. But tier 2 was like the opposite weird. Like Barco was in there. Like Barco is like literally one of the best scoring players in America right now.
Yeah, it's a weird situation. I just don't think it matters as much anymore. Like there's just some weird shit everywhere. So like
right.
I don't think it matters as much. Like honestly, like another thing too is like I've had this conversation with people. One of the pluses of the site sort of not being as great as what like it once was in theory is that like you're not splitting tons anyways. Like if you get a card worth like 0.05 ETH and the other one's worth like 0.048 ETH, like it really just doesn't matter as much anymore. Whereas like back in the day, like the difference between a card being fucked up and not fucked up was like
thousands.
Yeah, $1,000. Now it's like $20, like $50.
Right.
It's not the end of the world.
Not the end of the world. Let's see. Who else is here? Sopsy's here. Sora Holland, Palmera, Shaforkle. What do we got? SR Monkey catching a late show live for once. No pressure, but it better be good. They're always good. Get out of here with that. Mike Baston, what's up? Let's see who else. Ryan Walter. There we go. Mike Baston, we bet in the over-under on start time. I think I think everybody just pushes on today. Ryan Walter, I need a so rare consultant. I can't ever win, but I feel like my gallery is decent. Need somebody to tell me if my gallery is bad or I'm bad.
What's the gallery name?
Yeah. Let's do this.
Let's do this because I don't think
we haven't done that in a while. And and if the question is just, is it good or bad? We can do that. Johanneton, what's up? The good place said, if Laird is late, then clearly the details don't matter, which that's fair. That's fair. Aman, Ian, Sora, Malta. Whoa. In the bath with a vodka Coke waiting for the SD stream. Life doesn't get any better than this. You know what gets better? The stream's actually live.
True. I will say, all right. So actually, I hate baths.
I believe that.
I just don't like baths. It's like too hot for me. I'm like I like hot tubs. Like I like sitting in a hot tub, but like baths, I just can't do baths.
Huh. Yeah. Chinese curious if you have some Middle Eastern in you because of the growth of your beard.
Well, sort of. I'm Armenian.
Yeah, that's good enough.
Yeah, it's like in the area.
Sure. Dan says Sean's taking a stand and not shaving until the reward details come out. So appreciate that, Sean.
No, I'm probably going to, well, I mean, who knows when they're going to come out. I'm probably going to get a haircut in the next like week or so. Yeah. Probably ish.
That's borderline mid-March.
Yeah, that's like it's possible. It's possible. Like if I get it by
Right.
next Monday, that's like the 11th. Yeah, I don't know.
All right. We've got it's R Walter 5. He like asked us for a gallery review and didn't realize he actually is going to get one here. So
Yeah. Well, first thing I see is you have baseball cards, so you're doing it wrong.
Daniel Cooper also is just commenting that you could put cooler water in the bath.
You can, but then you're like constantly moving it around, and it's just not like.
Is there any surprise in your head at all that Tuggy is a bath guy?
I mean, I have no hate on baths. I just personally don't like them. Like I've taken probably one bath in my last 30 years of life. One.
Oh, so you don't really know.
No, like I took it and I hated it so much. I'm like, I'm not doing that again. Because when we bought our new house,
Like when I ate bologna.
we have like a really nice bathtub. So I was like, you know what? I gotta try this out, see if it's nice. And I took it. And I was like, I despise this. I'm like, I absolutely hate it. But yeah, so when I went to roster prices, like
I was gonna say that's what I do. I just if somebody's like, how are my cards? I go to roster prices. Let me get.
Yeah,
that's how you saw the baseball card.
I see. Well, no, I just see a baseball card second. You're just so that's all. You're just screwed. The real answer is that you're like if you're playing limiteds, it's just going to be very difficult to win the variance game because you just are unlikely to succeed very well. But like I mean, I'm looking like you have a Kansas City stack in MLS specialist that seems fine. You have
Midland stack.
What?
Midland stack. Lossell, Paulinho, Simsier, Cho. Let's go.
We know that's not getting the job done because Laird bought him. I don't think they've got him a card since.
I'm winning 2 cards this game week because of Midland stacks.
So those are like 1 and 2 of cards you've won since you've had the Midland stack?
It might be 3 and 4.
Yeah.
If you want to be obnoxious about it.
No, I think you're doing fine. I mean, you have enough. Like you don't have any
collection. No wonder I like Ryan so much.
Yeah, the issue is, Ryan, is you just aren't going and doing tons with high-end cards. So like you're relying on lower-end cards doing the job for you. And unfortunately, in limited, that's probably just not going to happen very frequently. Because like even when they have a decent week, it's just not good enough typically.
450, yeah. The heavy MLS is tough to gauge like recent results because obviously they haven't been playing.
But like, I mean, like looking through it, like right, he has a Midland stack that is currently not even getting him a reward despite them winning like 2-0. The issue is that there's just some guys that like if you're playing limiteds, like you have to just smash your brains out. And if you don't smash your brains out, you're just not getting the job
done. I think you're looking at it from the finishing first place.
No, I'm not looking at it from finishing first. I'm looking at it from finishing like in the tier 2s or above. Like limited, you have to smash your brains out to get up into the higher levels. Like this lineup is like 80 points off. Like you got to put a 400 with a limited lineup. Like that's a shitload.
Yeah.
To get a tier 2. So like it's just difficult from the variance game to make that happen.
Yeah, just move the goalposts and make it a tier 3, and it's just not so bad.
Yeah, but even like tier 3, like
I was only 40 points off. 360?
50 Laird.
What's that?
I said it was 50.
50 to a tier 2?
No, tier 3.
Oh, tier 3. Oh, you're right.
So I mean, it's just like I don't think you're doing wrong though. Like you're running out like 8-9
makes sense.
So you have it makes sense. You're running out 8-9 lamps a week, so you're getting entertainment value out of things. So I don't think that's bad.
Trying to see here the MLS. I mean, they're like Russie's good. The goalies or whatever.
Yeah,
they're goalies.
But like the thing is, like you're just if you're running like MLS and you don't have those heavy hittering mids, it's just difficult. Right? Like, I mean, like the MLS mids just smash. Like, if you don't have like Lucho,
there's so many of them too.
Yeah, there's so many of them. Like, if you don't have some of them, you're just gonna struggle probably.
Yeah. Yep. Agreed. Let's keep moving here. Black will do a stream from the bath, I bet. Like Jimmer season.
I can see that.
Sorare says, just to clarify, it's 7 p.m. here before anyone assumes I'm drinking vodka at 8 a.m. I don't think no judgment here. Charlie says Melia and Guzan, there's your issue. No, that's fine.
Guzan's great.
Yeah. Oh, Vita's here. What's up? Oh,
Oh,
apparently
so good. Vita's here. So just an FYI, since I don't have anything open to tell you, but you're here, so I'll just tell you here. I think you need to add 2024 for the search in terms of cards within galleries, because when I search it, I'm getting I only get 2023, so like the MLS new seasons aren't showing up.
Yeah. That's really annoying too, because like Challenger is going to be 2024 and 2023 cards.
Yeah, so I just wanted to let him know since he's here.
Yeah.
Just pretend that is me like reporting the issue. That's my report. Because I went to Pranksy so I was actually talking about it. I actually think that it's a good conversational point. So we can save it for a bit later, but I think that people are buying like full stacks of teams within the MLS, and I think that there's pretty good shot you're going to be able to like return them as well. But like we'll talk about that, I guess, as we go here.
Well, let's dive into that point, because we know some things, and like we said, we don't really know the details. But we were having a conversation in one of the Discords we're in that you feel like the price difference between old season MLS cards and new season MLS cards isn't as big as you would have expected, given the cash prizes that are going to be available soon.
Correct.
And I guess the first question is, like, what multiple were you expecting?
What multiple do you think I'm expecting?
1.5x.
I think 1 to 1.5 makes sense, but I think people are
one meaning double, like 100%.
Yeah, I'm thinking pricing for new season cards should so my guess, and again, let me preface this by saying I do not think we have enough information to have this answer, because I also had that conversation this week. Where did you see that conversation where Kaiser and I were going back and forth?
Yeah.
And you do not have enough info to make proper decisions right now, but you can make guesstimation decisions. And I think based on my guesstimation, it is going to be difficult for the current values not to be worth more, just from a price point standpoint of like what I think you can return with cards. So like, in my opinion, currently old season cards are probably priced accurately and probably fairly, and new season cards are going for much less than I would have expected.
So to give some feedback, or to provide some extra info, this conversation that was had last week, or it was like 3 days ago, I guess that was technically last week, was you were saying we don't have enough information to make these decisions. And our good friend Kaiser Soze was saying we have enough where we could estimate what we should be doing. Yeah, and it felt like the longer the conversation went on, you guys were clearly much closer to agreeing, but just saying it differently. So the point I keep going back to is, because we don't know the actual value of the in-season prizes, what is it about? Like, what do we know, and what are you guessing that justifies paying 2x old cards for the new cards?
So yeah, first of all, I agree. I think his argument was not what his argument was. Like, I think his argument was that people are dumb and won't give a shit regardless once the info's out. But like his like argument, I think, was just not good. I think
all he was saying was that he would be like shocked if the prizes ended up being drastically different than what we are expecting. Yeah. And it would have to be drastic for you to see the new prizes and just being like, oh, what I've been doing is totally wrong.
Yeah, but I disagree with that. I think his argument was well, yeah, here's the issue is like, he also like was like, the one bit of information we actually had, he got wrong and didn't even like realize that information was wrong. So it was difficult to get through on that. But it's just like the range of outcomes, you can have a range, which is what he was saying. That's what he was saying. I'm saying you don't have enough information. He was saying you did, and he's like, it's going to be within a range. The issue is that like I think the range is pretty wide, whereas I think he thinks the range might be the exact same as what I think it is. He just doesn't think it's wide.
So what is that range?
So I basically think what's going to happen is midweeks. I'm going to assume midweeks are going to have decent value, but I don't know what the midweeks are going to be. So the midweeks are very up in the air, and we just don't know what's coming with them. So I'm kind of throwing them out from that perspective. But based on the one pitcher that we saw, they're going to give out $200,000 a month for Challenger in as long as there are 10 teams that are playing to open it up. So my understanding of that graphic and my understanding of how it's going to work is that like if there are 10 teams, Challenger is going to get 50K a week. Doesn't matter if there's 30 or 70, it's going to get 50K a week, which could be incorrect. It could be correct. We don't know. He doesn't think it's correct, which is actually funny because we actually argued this part where I was like, I was helping his argument and he was helping my argument, and we were both on the opposite sides. But like the way that I interpreted how stuff was said, because that's how it was presented to us, is that if it's open, you're going to get a 50K game week for Challenger. That's how it was like sort of presented. So if you're getting 50K a game week for Challenger, you're going to have, let's say, 20K into rares a game week. If you have 20K into rares in the game week and there's X amount of lineups, you're going to have an equity amount that your lineup's going to be worth that equity amount. And based on the fact that for the summer, you have like 2.5, 3 months of pure MLS. And even when MLS doesn't play, like Carlos Gil matches up better than all the other challenger mids that you get. And those type of players, like there's very clear cut, like these guys are good enough to compete when anyone's playing. Like Cucho, if I have Cucho and Challenger Europe is playing and the Dutch league is going, Cucho is just as good as anyone. So if you buy these guys, like they have good value when everything plays, and then when not everything plays, they're by far the best people. So like my guess is sort of like you're going to be able to generate like $2,000 to $3,000 off of a rare in season good MLS lineup. So if that's the case, then I think that you're looking at like obviously like the high end guys in your lineup, like the Gills, are going to have more value from an old season perspective because they are the guys you typically will play as the classic card in the in season format. But like everything else, like if I think I can win $2,000 to $3,000 and I look at a card, so like Lucho Costa was the guy that I saw and I was just like, it just doesn't add up. Like his old season card is was 0.103 on the weekend. I'll use dollars. So like it was $342 on the weekend, and the 1 of 100 rare went for 518. Well, if it goes for 518 and that's like one of the best cards in the MLS, like you can make a whole team with like the best cards in the MLS for like $2,000. And if you can make the best cards in the MLS for like $2,000 and you're going to generate like $3,000 off of it, like that doesn't add up to me. Like you should in theory be able to spend more and still be able to produce a return that you want. Not to mention like there is going to be future season equity, and like sort of the way I'm looking at like future season and classic competitions is like I think the class, my guess, this is a guesstimation that I have, is that in season competition is going to give out 50% of the reward value in cash weekly. Classic competition is going to give out 50% of the reward value weekly in cards. The difference is that you are expected to get 25% of the value of that compared to 100% of the value of the like in season, because there's 4x the cards in the classic competition that you're going to have to be fighting with on a given week, right? So to me, if you think you can generate like $2,000 to $3,000 in a season, and then each additional season you get, let's say, 20% of the value of stuff, so like you're getting like $600, means like in theory you could probably spend $500 $600 a card pretty easily, and a lot of the cards are just not at that price point right now.
So one of the things that was like a disagreement between you two that I still don't like, I've been looking and haven't seen it, but like what in the announcement makes you think that the prize pool, the cash rewards will be the same every week?
The fact that they said they were going to give like $200K a month, and the way it's presented is that it's going to open if there are 10 teams. There's no indication that it's going to go bigger or less depending on how many teams are in it. It just appears to me that the 10-team threshold is the limit in order to open it for that weekend. It will just be the same prize pool. But that could be wrong, right? Like logically speaking, like that could definitely be wrong. But even so, like let's say that those game weeks, it goes from 50K a game week to 20K a game week. Like there's still a good amount of value that are in those game weeks that are still going to carry. It's just not going to go to zero. But again, I don't know. I don't know what that's going to be because that's part of the lack of information that we have right now.
Yeah, like so I assume this is the chart that you were referring to.
Correct. Yeah, I was wrong. I said 50K a week was actually like 55.
This was the 56 per game week. So it's my impression that this doesn't include midweeks.
Correct. My interpretation of the announcement is that midweeks do not exist.
Right. So the other thing that gets me on here is that it says monthly prize pool until end of season, which I take as the end of the European season.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm expecting the summer prize pools. Oh, obviously champion won't even happen, but to be significantly lower because we have fewer teams playing.
Yeah, it's definitely possible. And Nianza said, Sean, you're widely optimistic. No chance cash rewards are the same. They didn't mention dynamic rewards changing.
Right. Like that's what got me is that not always, but since they introduced dynamic rewards 2 years ago, there's been no indication that would change.
There's no indication that it won't either, though.
Right. But you're basically like, that's expecting a change as opposed to that's expecting an unannounced change.
That is expecting that what they're saying in the photos and the announcement are what it's going to be. But like you said, it totally could. This is through the end of the European season, so maybe they're just going to drastically change something in the summer, be like, you're screwed or something.
Right. I just think it's easy for them to show these numbers because all of the leagues are playing.
Correct. But that's
when they're not.
But like even so, like you look at stuff like when every league's playing versus when like some leagues are playing, like you still have a significant amount of prize pool even without that. Like there's still gonna, in theory, be like decent amounts of prize pools available regardless. So like let's say the 220 for the month turns into like 150 in the summer. Because like the MLS is a massive amount of the team pool in Challenger anyways. Like I think it's like half the teams anyways. Like, does that sound correct?
That feels
very close between MLS and Brazil. Like I think it's about half.
Well, Brazil, no, I mean it's full Eredivisie, full Jupiler, full Turkish. Like MLS is not that much of challengers.
Yeah, I guess it's less because I forgot about Turkish.
Yeah, like Brazil's partial, Denmark's partial, Portugal's partial, and English Championship. I mean, they don't have any new teams, but they obviously have a couple. But yeah, I mean, it's like this is 4 full leagues, one of which is
yeah. MLS. The MLS, like for example, like MLS is the same size as Jupiler and Eredivisie combined, because it's like 32.
Almost.
Yeah, it's like but like all right, Brazil and MLS are Dutch and Belgium combined.
I think there are only 2 Brazilian. Like they're really not that many.
Yeah, but there's a lot less teams in the Dutch league and the Belgian league compared to MLS.
Is it not 36 between the 2?
It's probably 36, but like so that's pretty close.
Oh, for Brazil, yeah. So 30. What are there in MLS? 29. I don't think they hit 30 yet.
Yeah, something like that. 29,
so 33.
30. I don't.
Yeah, so I guess it's close. You're right.
Yeah, it's like it's in
Turkey.
Like it's not going to change tons with it. The Good Place said he thinks that it's like 130. He said he thinks there's 96 challenger, 33 are US or MLS or Brazil. So it's like 1/3. So like even if you cut that and you make it like typically they don't go down to a certain level because it's got to be at like 10. Like say it's like instead of 220, it's like 100K game week, but that 100K game week is like MLS only. So it's still decent. It's just difficult because you don't know exactly what it's going to be. Again, why we need the info. But like the big thing too for me is that you don't have the mid-season at all, or the midweeks. I'm sorry, you don't have midweek at all. Like we have no idea what midweeks are going to be. Like we have no clue, zero. And the idea, what we've seen is that midweeks are going to be good. Like in theory, based on what we've seen, you would think midweeks are supposed to become better than what midweeks are now.
They certainly made it seem like they would be better.
Correct. Like they make it seem like it would be better. And also part of like my calculation with stuff and my thoughts on everything is I'm being very conservative with like future season shit, right? Like I'm not pretending there's going to be much value for classic cards once they become classic, but there still is good value in classic cards. Especially like if you have a Carlos Gil and that's going to be your classic in-season card, then that card carries a lot more value year in, year out because you're just going to continue to use it in the in-season format. So I think there is definitely some potential that you get additional value with stuff. It's just hard to know. Also, like we don't know what the loot boxes are going to be. I think the loot boxes are going to be worse than what other people think they're going to be. Like I think you're going to have like very little chance to get anything of value in the loot boxes. Other people think it's going to be way higher than that. What do you think about the loot boxes?
I don't think they have enough things to give away that make them fun. Like it's the number of like boosts and all that kind of stuff that you can get. It just doesn't seem like it's going to be that exciting to get a loot box, to be honest.
Abita said that midweek utility may vary a lot between champions and the rest. I would assume based on what's known of the prize pool that UCL-based special weeklies will reward much more than Libertadores special weeklies. The issue is like we just don't know though. Like we have no idea what's going to happen. Like I think something that would make a lot of sense in midweeks.
There is no way.
No. We know the Champions League is going to be bigger in Libertadores, but like again, they freed up a lot of ETH for everything. Like, and they're not giving away ETH in the midweeks. Like they have to give away ETH in the midweeks in some format.
I think they will. Yes.
Yeah. So it's just a matter of like what they're going to do. But like in the summer, champs don't play. So like MLS special weekly in the summer or like all-star special weekly in the summer in the midweeks.
I just feel like you have this expectation that like prize pools will be not the same, but like comparable during the summer. And I just don't like they're going to use the summer to save money to pay for the regular European season.
Yeah, but like even doing so, like it still could be not bad. Like it's still gonna be way better than what it was in theory. In theory. No, but I'm saying in theory, they literally cut 80% of the money they were given to Threshold and are now giving it to other stuff. So in theory, some of that should go to the summer because that's what's happening.
I mean, obviously some is going because they're going to have the in-season competitions anyway. Right. But I just don't think that they need to like blow them out in the summer for like, if anything, they'll blow it out for Euros.
They might do it for the Euros. They might do it for Copa America. People keep acting like the Olympics are going to be a big deal. Like I can't imagine the Olympics are a big deal. Like no one gives a shit about the Olympics typically. I
mean, then Mbappe plays and we all get excited.
Yeah, but like, Mbappe is going to play. But like that, the Olympics are just not the best because like it's not even like U23. It's like U23 guys that are not good enough to play for their main national team.
Right.
Because like, for example, the MLS, like Reina probably wouldn't play. Like Pulisic wouldn't have played like normally, or like, but they can take 3 overage people. But like Enzo Fernandez typically is not going to play in the Olympics for Argentina. He might, like they could, like sometimes it happens, but like those type of guys are typically not going to play. So like all of a sudden your U23 is like Jack McGlynn. It's not like Yunus Musa. It's like Jack McGlynn.
Yeah.
So it's not even like the best guys. So anyways, again, like we said, like that was my whole argument. Is like we do not have enough information to really come up with an idea. I did say, and I told you this, if stuff's not overpriced right now, we're kind of screwed anyways. Like if MLS cards aren't overpriced from what they are, I think that we're just in like, it's just going to be the stakes on the platform are just going to be really low.
Underpriced, you mean?
Yeah, if they're not underpriced right now, then we're just kind of screwed anyways.
Are we screwed as a platform or just as challengers players?
We are screwed as people that have galleries. If you're someone new coming onto the platform and then you buy stuff, I think it's fine. If you are someone that has a big gallery and the prices are underpriced right now and they go even further into the tank, then you're just going to lose so much more value off your cards from where it is now.
It seems like there may be a few people who are agreeing with you, as like the Lucho Acosta 2 of 100 went for more than the 1 of 100.
It's definitely possible. I think that like once we get more information, if they're like, we're giving away a boatload of money during MLS season, then it could be interesting. Further to your point though, like if the prices are underpriced right now, then Challenger's just lost. Like it's just a lost cause a lot of the time.
I think it's just really, really, really difficult to say either way without knowing the prize pools. And I think because of that, there are a lot of people who are like, yeah, I would love a Lucho Acosta, but I just don't know. And so they're holding back. And so the people who are getting them for presumably low, prices that are too low, it's just a risk reward at this point, right?
Yeah, it's definitely that. Like, I mean, if you think they're going to go up and you're not buying them, Blue Tomatoes asked, why aren't you buying MLS cards? I am buying MLS cards. I have a different way of buying it than other people.
The hell does that mean?
It means I do it in a more intelligent way than a lot of other people. I'll wait till I do it before I give it away, Larry.
So you haven't done it. Not buying anything, Sean.
It's not true. I bought a Robin Lod.
Robin Lod, there he is.
Yep. So I have been buying. Also, to that discussion, I think there was better value to be bought recently anyways, and I did that first, and that wasn't cheap. Because I bought like 5 ETH worth of super rares in the Premier League.
Oh, yeah.
Like I bought a James Madison super rare, a Sun super rare, a Garnacho super rare. So I bought quite a few. I bought a Pickford super rare. So I've spent funds just in the Premier League, not the MLS, because I feel like that was the most pressing spot to spend.
So what are you going to wait until the announcement to buy?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, I'm on the look. I was in some of the auctions. I got outbid on some of them, and I didn't want to keep. There was you know how the first goes. I don't care about rares. Like that's the thing. Is like the rares. I'll get the rares when I get the rares. I care more about the super rares. So like I've been in the super rare auctions, but like at the same time, like there was some people that was like this person's winning the auction, so I didn't want to keep just pounding the price upwards.
This question from Johanneton, basically, do you think that people aren't rushing to buy them because the European cards can be playable for 7 to 10 game weeks?
So it definitely matters. I'll use my gallery as an example. So if I go look in my gallery, and I'm just going to I'll go from different scarcities and I'll explain like what I can get. So when new season ticks in, I have these cards that I can use in season for Challenger. I have a Robin Lod I just got. I have a Paintsel. I bought a Kai Wagner Old. I have a, let's see. I have a Canpalot super rare, which is a goalie, so like he can be used. I have a Bergwijn super rare that can be used, and I have a Sugawara super rare that can be used. And then in contender, I have like a Johannes Handel. So like I have a few guys that can like bridge the gap for me. So my plan is I hope that I'm able to bridge the gap while hopefully adding some rewards in while I'm bridging that gap to then buy some cards to continue going. I told you the other day, to me, the most logical way to be playing Challenger and Contender in the future is to like be 6 months off kilter from what other people are doing. So like it can't happen right now because obviously like you didn't know this at the beginning, but like the idea right now would be like you have like 10 to 15 Challenger Europe super rares that are able to support you until, let's say, May, at which point during like the March to May time, you buy MLS super rares. And then those carry you into like October, and then you buy Challenger super rares from Europe again. Yeah. And you could repeat the cycle over and over again, but it causes you not to be in a rush to buy the first runs of each level.
Makes sense. Just to clarify something, Smooth Boy said, wait, if midweeks are gone, games like Champions League, Europa League won't be covered at all. No, they're going to have like basically special weeklies, which I really hope they just rename to something consistent so that we know, oh, it's the Champions League contest this week.
Like what
we'll still have midweek utility.
What I'm envisioning, again, hard because so Jonathan said he disagrees that no prize pool. Why would anyone spend money? It's stupid, simple as that. That's not necessarily true. It could be stupid, could not be stupid. You could beat the people to stuff and get things cheaper than they might be once the prize pools are out. So like you guys,
it's a simple risk reward.
Yeah. So back to that question though, like what I kind of envision them doing in the like Champ Europe times and with like the Champs League and stuff, I expect them to do like Champs League in season, Champs League Classic, Europa League in season, Europa League Classic, Europa Conference League in, or like maybe they'll combine Europa Conference League and Europa League into one.
For midweeks, you mean?
Yeah, for midweeks, and they'll like have a classic version and an in-season version. Or the only question I have is like I don't know what they're gonna do. Like for example, like the championship plays in the midweeks during Champs League. What are you gonna be able to do with those cards? Like, are they just gonna make those cards totally unusable during those times? Because if that's the case, that sucks. But another thing I could see them doing is like I could see them totally like turning the midweeks into like all-star, where there's like all-star classic and you can run like 3 liners. I think it's realistic, like something like that happens.
Yeah, I think all-star. Yeah, there'll be many more global competitions for sure.
Yeah. So but then again, we don't know. Like we don't know what's going to be. So Vita said maybe they don't need to split classic in season, but maybe have a 2 new season requirement to make it more open. So the issue is I don't think you can ever have something that completely eliminates people from being able to play their classic cards. So like I think you have to have a format that allows the classic cards, a full classic line, to be used, or people are going to like be very, very upset about it. So I think that like there's going to be the opportunity to like run a classic version and an in-season version, or maybe they won't run an in-season version and they'll just have a classic version. So like maybe they'll have Champs League and it'll just be classic, and they won't give away much money in the midweeks. Like that's definitely possible.
Well, those will be card rewards anyway.
Correct, but I'm saying like maybe they just won't give much money in the midweeks and they'll just give more money in the weekends. Or maybe they'll give more. Maybe
I think that's definitely the plan.
Maybe they'll just run like a Champs Classic and they'll give $100K a week for it.
I don't think they'll ever give that for a classic competition ever again.
In the midweeks, like you're either doing that or you're giving a classic and an in-season competition, which is possible. They could just do an in-season competition too.
I think they're more likely to do that. Like I really don't think they ever want to give cash for old season cards ever again.
Another issue that I think is currently happening right now too is that like we just do not have the information from how they're going to sell cards either, because the MLS came out just like normal auctions.
Right. That the MLS or the MLS release was almost like it's convenient because they don't have the in-season competitions yet.
Correct. So it's just like I don't know what they're going to do.
Where are those J League cards, man?
Yeah, I'm surprised J League's not out. Do they have the J League license still, or no? Is it like gone again?
No, it's on the site. It was never gone from the site.
So they still have it.
Yeah.
Because like last year it left.
Yeah.
So like they do still have the J League. So like J League should be out in the next like week or two as well.
There are a lot of shoulds.
There are a lot of shoulds.
What's your, like, do you have a number where you're just like, oh, this is just dog shit?
What do you mean? For like midweeks or just for like overall? No, I mean, based on the overall, like we have, like the numbers in theory should be good and should support prices higher than what they're at right now.
Based on that illustrative purposes?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's all we can go for. Tom asks, he needs some advice. I have around 80 collection with cards spread all over. Should I sell and go for Premier League in season? The last thing anyone should do right now is go for Premier League in season in limiteds or rares. Like that's the last thing you should do on the platform. Like literally anything else you can do is better than that. You're not going to pay off those cards. So like the literal worst thing you could do is that.
I'd say it's unlikely.
You could win the variance fest, but like that's the least logical and the least effective ROI perspective that you could do.
Sorum also said if there's 10 licensed teams playing champ, challenger, or contenders will be open even if a midweek, which I really don't think is the case. I was trying to go through the FAQs, and the one I have here, it says to initiate a football-specific competition, at least 10 licensed teams must participate for the competition to be officially opened. This rule ensures sufficient engagement and competitiveness within the league for competition. For champions, challengers, and contender competitions to open, the licensed teams need to be participating in a league fixture.
Yeah.
Which doesn't happen that much for midweeks. But anyway, it says we have an ambitious plan for midweek game weeks and regional competitions to be featured in dedicated special weeklies. I don't necessarily read that. I'm not even sure how to read that, whether it's like, oh, if there are 10 Premier League games on a Wednesday, we're going to have champions open.
Correct. But like they're not having relegation and promotion during the midweek. So like, I don't know what the plan is going to be for that.
Right.
Yeah. So I don't think that's going to be
like the division structure doesn't work for midweeks.
So Mike Basson said J League and K League new season cards have never been on time or even within a couple of weeks of the new season. MLS has never been near.
There's never been this early.
Yeah, never. No league ever has been this close to release date. Like, I don't think we've ever had a league within like a month of the season starting having cards released. This is the first time. So yeah, like we don't know what the midweeks are going to be. The midweeks are just a massive question mark at this point, which is like very difficult to do. Like, especially because like I have a lot of midweek cards, but it goes into your decision to buying stuff. Because like, let's say the midweeks blow, right? Well, you have a lot of teams rotate during the weekend or the midweeks to prepare for the other. Well, if the midweeks are horrendous, then you don't really want guys that are going to be playing in the week and the midweek and then might get rotated on the weekend. That would be pretty terrible. Yeah. So are Malta, back to your point that you just had. That was Kaiser's issue that he like brought up, that's what's going to happen in the midweeks. As far as the announcement is and the FAQ and stuff, midweeks are not going to open the regional league like at all in the midweeks. Unless they have a full like fixture schedule for that week, but like that doesn't happen very often.
I'm not even sure even if they have it.
Yeah, I'm not even sure if they'll have it even if that does happen. So like I don't know what the plan for the midweeks are going to be from that perspective.
Like they might have like a midweek Premier League special weekly.
Correct.
For those, but
correct. They'll call it something different.
I would love to stop this special weekly
name
moniker.
Yeah. Special weekly is like, hey, we have this special thing for a week, not like we're going to run this like 15 times and just call it something different every week. Like calling it the like Champions League special weekly when it happens the same thing every midweek the Champions League is running is like, so stupid. So yeah, I don't know what midweeks should just be an absolute dumpster fire. The issue is like we've had this discussion before. Sorare could give what they think is a lot of money, and all the users are just like, that's not a lot. And they're just like, what the F? Because, I mean, in the future, is anything going to be higher than like the Premier League champion?
Champions is the only one I would think could possibly be more.
So in-season rare right now in the Premier League, the issue is there's only one division right now. There's going to be 5 in the future, or 4, or whatever it's supposed to be. The first place prize pool in the Premier League in season is going to be $3,000. So all of a sudden, though, you turn into like 5 divisions, and all of a sudden that 3,000 becomes 1,500, and people are playing for $1,500 on a weekend, and it's like they're not going to be as excited about that. Same thing, like Super right now is like 3,600. All of a sudden, pretend that's like 2K. Well, it's a lot less exciting in the future, but I think the divisions are going to be different with that level.
So you're saying that whatever that top prize value is split by the number of divisions. It's not the Division 1 prize.
Well, actually that's true. That's true, but I think Premier League, aren't they giving out
the one you were talking about?
But aren't they pretty much giving that out like right now in Premier League? Like right now, Premier League, I think they're giving out like. Let me look.
Isn't it 3K?
No, Premier League right now for like Super, they're giving out 10. So go back to that graph. But like that's which lines up. So right now in the Premier League, right now in the Premier League, Super Rare is giving out $10,000, but like Champion is is like 50% more than what the Premier League is based on that graphic. So it giving out 15 means the Premier League in theory is going to be exactly what it is now. It's just going to be broken down into like 3 divisions. So super rare, like you're giving 10K to super rare as a whole, and it is going to be split up around 3 divisions. Like it's just going to be hard to like really get a good chunk back, I would think.
Yeah, there we go. Sorry. Like first place in super rare was 3,600.
Yeah. But like you're going to have 3 divisions in super rare. So like this 10K prize pool is going to be like, let's say 7, 6, 3, 1, right? Like it's broken into 3 divisions. It's like 6, 3, 1. Well, then all of a sudden your top prize is like $1,500, not $3,600 or whatever.
Maybe, yeah. Zamstar said, is anyone interested in special edition cards or skins for midweeks when the cash pool is low?
I don't give a shit.
I don't think anybody's spending more money to get special edition cards.
No, people spend a little bit more, but like, yeah, no one really cares that much. Like,
I think they would spend more to buy them, not to possibly win them.
Oh yeah, to buy them, they would spend more. Like to win them, they're not going to really care that much.
Mike said, surely they'd have to open regional if a midweek, like when we had a full slate of Turkish games, were rearranged in January. I would not say surely.
Yeah, I would not say surely either. I agree with Laird.
I think it's special turkey time.
Yeah, turkey special, baby. Just throw in some mashed potatoes in your.
I was going to say if they were an American company, there'd be some horrible Thanksgiving pun or something. But.
Probably still will be, to be fair. But yeah, so I just think that we need a lot more information than we currently have for full knowledge on these situations. And I just think that we don't have it. And I think it makes it very tricky to do. But like, yeah, one thing I know for sure, like right now is like buying Premier League rares and limiteds right now does not going to be a good investment. Someone mentioned Nepenthez doing it. Yeah, Nepenthez won it. Dude, it's a variance fest. Like it is mathematically terrible, but you could still win. Like it's not saying you can't win, but like it's mathematically very likely terrible. Like you're way more likely probably right now to be able to like return your investment if you are buying in-season MLS than if you're buying in-season Premier League rares and limiteds. Like, I think you have a way higher % chance of like returning your investment based on the part of the season we're in.
For sure. Yeah, I totally agree. And it's just a utility reason. Like it's not anything else other than that. Mike said, but their rules said a regional will be open if 10 our league games are open. You said that earlier. So like the FAQ did say that, but then also said that they would have other things for midweeks.
Yeah, so and they've already said that they're not doing division stuff during the weeks.
Right.
So, yeah.
Where did that go? Here we go. Yeah. Like I'm pretty sure these ambitious midweek plans are because they don't have regular competitions open.
Correct. RJ said 1,000 people paying for 20K in Premier League in-season rare at the moment means that there's an expected value of $20 per team per game week, making those cards ridiculously overpriced. Yes, that is my interpretation as well. I'm not checking the math on it per se, but like that is my interpretation is that like in-season rare and limiteds are very, very off right now in Premier League.
Yeah.
Mike Bass said, so their rules and FAQs are pointless.
I
don't think they're pointless. I just think they don't know exactly what they're doing yet. And so like some things are not being answered correctly based on how we would answer them as users, is my takeaway.
Blue Tomato said, now that Sorare is setting the in-season prices, do you think this is good or bad for the market? Until now, card prices have always been a player decision, threshold excluded. How are they setting in-season prices?
They're setting them by like the amount you can win, and the EV effectively in a lineup is like how much you should realistically be spending on cards. So like if you can only return $3,000 over the course of the season with cards, like you really cannot be spending 2 ETH for an Mbappe rare. It just doesn't really make sense. Right. So, but like, so there's pros and cons to it, right? The pros are that in theory, there's a value prop below it that's holding it up. And it's like, you are going to return this amount so you can spend up to this amount. But there's also the negatives of like, it really should neuter like a card like an Mbappe or some of those other cards because they should never go for an outlandish price again because you just cannot recoup
because you can't recoup it.
Yeah.
Could you make better?
It's not fully accurate because, like, obviously, like, if you buy an Mbappe rare for 2 ETH and you can use that in season for 10 years, it pays it off. But, like, it is less effective than it is now, effectively, because it works a little bit. So, like, I think there's pros to it. I think there's cons to it. The pros are that there should be, in theory, going forward, an exact amount that, like, you should be able to get this much out of the cards. You should be able to spend up to that amount. But also, the same thing is, like, you should not be able to spend more than that amount and expect a return properly.
And this is also what Ryan says here. Works both ways, as they can adjust the prize pool up if card prices go up.
Correct. And based on what we've been told and what we're under the assumption of is that they can raise the prices, and, like, this 200K a game week they're giving away could become 250K a game week going forward. It really depends on the prices of the cards and how stable stuff are. So, like, in theory, yes, they can definitely raise the prices and raise the value of those cards in the future. It's definitely possible.
I just noticed Tom C won the Premier League Super Rare comp, and he finished second.
He didn't win it yet.
Two completely different teams.
It's not over yet, sir.
Oh, that's right. Sorry.
Andy Black can still win.
You're right. He's winning. I don't know where Andy Black is, but
he has Declan Rice. Andy Black and I both have a big Declan Rice need today.
Halogen said, bigger prize pools means in-season cards sell for more, means classic season rewards are worth more, which means old work cards are worth more. Second market tax earnings up equals incentive to give out good prize pools.
Yeah, so I do have, here's my one thing with how things are currently going to be, and I think this is how things should probably be. It should be like an escalator, and, like, towards the end of the season, you should win more. Otherwise, the in-season cards lose loads and loads of value each and every game week that they have. So, like, at the beginning of the season, you should give out like 200K a game or 50K a game week. At the end of the season, you should give out like 100K a game week. So that those cards are, otherwise, like, let's say in like 3 weeks you win a Premier League rare and there's like 5 games left. There's just not that much value, and it's basically a classic card. So you're basically using classic cards to win classic cards. But if instead of giving out 50K game week, you're giving out 100K game week, and those back end contests are worth more, then it keeps that value up. So that's how it should work, but I don't think that's how it's going to work.
So I was going to be much more dramatic about it, but it's like, obviously that's how it should work. Like, yeah, of course you should backload the rewards.
Yeah, but do you think that's how it's going to work?
No.
So basically, it should be super logical how it should work, and it's not going to work that way. Is basically what we think.
So the only reason why, well, the other reason why that should work, or that's why they should do it, is it doesn't force their hand in getting as many cards out at the beginning as possible. Like, if you are like, the prize pool is 50,000 for the first month and then 100,000, they don't have to sell all of the cards right away, and they can stay with their at least pushed up schedule instead of having to say, here are all the cards, go nuts.
Yeah, but I think, like, it should, you don't have to do it exactly like per week it goes up, but like you could definitely have like this should be like after a quarter of the season's over, stuff goes up 20%. After
it should be the number of cards that they've minted and that the number of people can play. If more people can play, the reward should go up because it means you've sold more cards.
Correct.
Jonathan said, when do you think the end of September will arrive?
As far as I'm under the understanding, we are supposed to know the prize pools for the transitional period and in August by the end of February. That's my understanding of the situation. Like, and again, though, like, hey, who knows if they understand that? But like, if they come out and don't give us any information about stuff for August, you're just in the same situation. You have no information.
Rikamon points out that the midweek after the 29th, which is when all of this is supposed to start, there's a Premier League, Eredivisie, and Turkish Superliga midweek games.
Yeah, I mean, should definitely know what those are going to be like, but we don't. Yeah, so we're Holland and Jonathan are saying February, but February of which year? That's the question, because I mean, we should know this stuff already. Like, this should not be not announced yet, in my opinion. And I think your opinion's the same. Like, we should have had this stuff by the end of February. But what they're doing is they're just causing people to not buy shit. Like,
right.
say,
It's like we're staying away from the market because we're just like, I don't know what's coming.
100%. A lot of people are staying away from the market. A lot of people are waiting. But like, hypothetically, I know this is not going to happen. So like, change this. But like, hypothetically, they could be costing themselves a pile of money. All of a sudden, like, let's say they're like, we're going to give away $1 million a week in the MLS. And then they're like, oh shit, we sold like 5% of our allotment of cards for the year at like a price point that no one thought that was realistic at all. Because obviously,
Yeah.
But like,
this is sorry. Yeah. This is the matchups tab for game week 464, which is the midweek after all of this is supposed to start. I don't know if we don't have fixtures yet for J League and K League, but it looks like there's all like we don't have the exact dates. These all could be Friday and then not set. But we've got a little bit in
nothing that's covered though. Well, it's all
and then we've got Eredivisie and Turkish Super League, like somebody mentioned. I'll see a little Switzerland in there. And then somebody said Premier League, and I think there's one La Liga game. Yeah.
Yeah.
So like, they should have a Premier League special that week. I assume it's everyone.
Oh, who knows? Tuggy said they should have announced the damn prize pool when they announced the change. Yeah, but they can't announce it because they don't know it. Which was the question Laird was avoiding earlier. Of why did they not announce it yet?
So let's speculate a little bit here for some fun.
Okay.
What do you think was like the revelation they made when they were like, oh, we can't announce the prize pools yet because of this?
I have no idea. I just think they did not even start on it or have it figured out before then.
So I think it's that they didn't realize that by keeping the cap modes and All-Star and U23, I guess U23 is staying anyway. So let's call it All-Star and the cap modes, that they won't have nearly enough cards to reward along with Premier League, Champ, Challenger, and Contenders. And I think they were like, all right, let's do the prize pools. All right. So we have these cards and it's like, oh, we're going to give away 12 cards in All-Star now.
Yeah.
And
I really don't have an answer for you because I don't know why we don't have this information. Because like, we should have just had this information and we should have just had they should have just stayed with it through the summer. They should have just announced, like, they should have just not had a transitional period. They should have just said, we're changing this in August.
I think
why couldn't they have done this and then just ran Champion America Global and stuff in the.
So I think that they did this to make sure it works before this gigantic August marketing push when all of the users are kind of come in because it's the new European season.
That makes sense.
And now they have 3 months to be like, oh shit, how do we actually do this?
Yeah. Which, to be fair, is like logical. If you're in the Asian and American leagues, you just sort of expect like shit show. So that does make sense. I just don't understand how we don't have stuff sorted out. Vita said 100% March is the beta. I just don't understand how if you tell us we're going to have this, literally, we need the information. You cannot do stuff with any sort of sense without the information. The only spot I think you could do stuff for with the information we have right now is the Premier League. I think you could buy Premier League stuff based on the information we have. Because I think we have,
and that information is don't buy them.
Correct. Right now, that information is do not buy them for limiteds and rare. Although, like, if you need like one card, I think it's fine. But yeah, if you're buying like from zero, like, yeah, you don't buy them. But so like, I just don't understand how if you're like, we are going to have a month, and then we will tell you by the end of the month, and I just don't understand how it doesn't happen because like it's so critical. It's such an important thing. And again, though, so like they literally came up with this, and the answer to the question is don't buy them. That's not great. Right? Like, that's not good. If pretty much everyone is like, the answer is to not buy them, that's not great. Except for like the people that are like, I'm going to be dumb and buy them. That's great. But like most people that have looked at it, because it doesn't really take much to look at it and be like, there's absolutely no realistic way I can pay this off, and I should not be buying these cards to like anyone. So yeah, I don't know why we don't have this information yet.
I was going to say something else, but this division question threw me off. So Limpy said, do we all start in the lowest division, or when can we reach Division 1 the soonest? So they're going to decide divisions based on galleries, but
can I say this? That's going to create a shit show.
So are they like, how many entries do you get? Like, do we all get 3?
In theory, we all get 3. So like that part's not the shit show. But like, let's say you are Andrew Laird and you have a full Midland stack and you're prepared for Challenger, but the rest of your gallery blows. And they're like, all right, Laird, you're going to start off in Division 4 in Challenger. And then be like, Sean, you're in Division 1 with all 3 entries. How are you? Because they're doing it off of galleries. So like,
but we also don't know how.
We don't know how, but like there's a pretty good idea that like I will be in Division 1, right? With like a super rare Challenger lineup.
But does that mean you get 3 Division 1 lineups or 1? That was really my question, Vita.
I don't know, but it doesn't matter because like it's gonna. If I'm someone that like gets it and it's just like, hey, you're put in the shitbag division where you can't win anything for the first like 3 weeks while you work your way up, you're not going to be happy about that. Possibly, some people will be fine, but like some people might be like, what the F? I want to be up higher.
I mean, we all want to be higher. That doesn't mean. Johannesson said, isn't it based on past performances? I don't think so. I think
they made it seem the way they said it is it's based on gallery, whatever that means.
Yeah. So Vita says, I wouldn't think anyone should get 3 Division 1 lineups. That's what I was thinking. But like, how do they determine the other lineups?
I'm fine with that. But like, so in theory, then based on what he's saying, and this is fine, I have no issues with this. I will have a D1 lineup, a D2 lineup, a D3 lineup based on it. Let's say there are 5 divisions. I will have a D1, D2, D3 lineup in theory. Or like, you just put like me in D1 and then like 2 D5s. Maybe that happens.
When he said in the any other comments section of the next Sorare survey, I'm writing to tell them to put PSU in the bottom division.
Go for it. But like, so how are they going to just be like, Laird, go pound yourself and you're in D5, D5, D5?
Sean, I'll just podium D5. I don't care, man.
Yeah, but some people are going to care.
Yeah.
And because like based on the looking at things, like it's not going to be like the most easy to get all the way up. Like you're going to like, it could take a little bit of time to get up there.
Nanzo said the division idea shouldn't survive 12 months. It's a crazy concept.
I struggle to see it executed well. Let me put it that way.
You see it like because of Sorare or because of just the concept, like nobody would be able to make it work?
I just think that both, maybe both. Yeah, here's the thing is like, you're just going to have like, dude's going to put up like 500 points and be the best lineup in any champion rare, and he's going to win like a tier 3 rare because he's in like Division 5, and it's going to be like, what the F? Why am I even playing this shit?
Yeah. I mean,
or like
that's another reason that they start on March 29th, that by the time we get to August, the divisions are like make sense.
Maybe. I think it is going to be tricky to work well.
Sure.
That's I don't.
The whole game's tricky.
What?
The whole game is tricky.
Yeah, but like here's the thing is like there is massive failures in basic simple stuff. I just don't love the idea of something so important being so complicated, because like simple things get screwed up that just are super basic to all of us, and we're like, this makes like it's super easy. So yeah,
I think by the time we know that it's all percentage based. The top 10, 20% get relegated, top 50 get relegated, top 20 from Division 1 and 2. And it just works from March 29th until whenever.
Well, I guess part of it is like Vita saying that. So maybe what they should do at the beginning is everybody should just start in D5 and just like there is no division the first beginning, and then you move up. So like after week 1, the top 10% are in Division 1, top 30%. Right. Like that's probably how they should do it. That would be the most fair win. I don't think anyone could complain. Like them arbitrarily putting people in a division.
No one could complain. Come on.
Well, people will, yeah, but no one would have like a justification.
You knew here.
Yeah, no one would have a good justification to complain. Whereas like people are just going to be like you just are arbitrarily getting put in Division 5. Also, like, how's it gonna? I don't even want to go there.
No, go there.
No, I was gonna say like Bellama's not playing Challenger during the summer. He's not playing or maybe he will, but like he's not planning to play Challenger Super Rare. So like, but then what happens in August when Challenger Super Rare is starting in the new non-transitional period, and he hasn't played all summer with Challenger cards? Like, does
he would have played? He would have played before the season's over.
Oh, I guess,
then he wouldn't get relegated.
Okay.
I just don't know how they
how
they figured that out. Yeah, I don't know. Like,
how's that where everyone's just going to work their way up to Division 1, and just like literally everybody in the platform is going to be in Division 1 because no one got relegated. Oh no, you get relegated, but only if you enter a lineup. If you don't enter a lineup, you're good.
Right. Yeah. As soon as they said that, I'm like, there's no way this is how it works.
Yeah, I don't know.
Here it is, Sean. Maybe they place him in divisions based on your rivals, Elo. That's why you keep grinding.
I'm set. Like, I actually looked at it. So I know you hate rivals, and I know most people don't care about rivals. Nanzo's still playing. I'm still ahead of Nanzo because obviously, I play Nanzo all the freaking time, although I'm not playing as much recently. But so like, did you look at my rivals breakdown I gave this morning?
Oh, I did.
Yeah. So like, it's for those of you guys that play rivals that are like, that think that people with cards have an advantage. If you think that, you're out of your freaking mind, because it's literally just like a hellacious, like, you just get screwed over and over again if you have cards. So for those, I'll give the breakdown to the people here. So like, since like last Thursday, I played 16 rivals matches. In those 16 rivals match, I was at a disadvantage in XP 13 of 16 times. The 3 that I was not at a disadvantage, one of them was I had a 5%. It was like I had 4 rares and 1 limited. They had 2 limiteds and 3 rares. The other 2 times were both like I literally had probably the best possible XP you could have in that game, because I had like 3 uniques and like 2 super rares, and it was not possible for me to like not have an advantage. And even those, like, I barely had an advantage. Other ones, I am like, Rivals concept is freaking amazing. I still love the concept, which is why I still play it. But and then also of those 16 matches, I'm like 200 plus rep above everybody that I'm playing, except for a couple of them. So if I win, I get like 5 points. I lose like 8, and I'm at a massive disadvantage every single time on average, except for like 2 times. It's like, what? How do you even survive?
Surfer says the same. He's had advantages in 3 of his last 30.
It's like, if you don't just have like limited, you're just like screwed. Like, and like, even if you have limited,
like, play the higher scarcity card.
What?
Yeah, if you have like a limited and a rare, you have to play the rare.
Yeah, right? You don't even have the option to not play it. So it's like, I play all commons and I get matched up with like 1 limited, so I'm at a 20% disadvantage. Or like, I play my cards and I'm just like run into Nanzo, and Nanzo like just has every card above me. Like the Bayern game. So like the Bayern game, like, you would say my Bayern stuff is really good, right?
Sure.
So like, I'll give you an example. I had Neuer, Kim and Jay super rare, Musiala super rare, Kane rare, Tell rare. That's a pretty good line, right?
Tell.
What?
Look at you playing Tell.
Actually, Laird, I played Tell in a legitimate lineup this weekend too. All right. So anyways, like, you'd say that's a pretty good lineup, right?
Seems it.
I had like a minus 50 XP disadvantage in the game because I played Pranksy. And Pranksy had a unique and 4 super rares. So I had like a 35% XP difference or something like that, or 25, 30%. I had a game this weekend where I was like a minus like 40, 45% XP advantage.
Why do you keep playing?
Because I like it. I like the strategy behind it. Like, a lot of times, like, I'll make subs. Like, I'll make optimal subs if I want to. I like the idea of the tactics. I think it's fun. And like I'm playing it on such a freaking hard mode. It's like playing a video game on like Heisman level and like NCAA football back in the day, Laird. I'm like playing on Heisman level against all these things where I'm just at like disadvantage in every single way, and I'm just like seeing if I can overcome it. I'm doing a damn good job of it, but like it's ridiculous.
That's fair.
Because it doesn't match you up on elo. It matches you up on like
Yeah.
what your card power is. But like if you have above all limiteds, you just like are screwed because you then get matched up against someone that like has like 5 uniques, and you're like, well, this is great.
Final thought for the show from Nanzo here. Here's a novel concept. People win rewards based on how their team does that game week.
It's a good concept. It's reasonable. I have no arguments with that concept.
Maybe we'll find that game one day.
So
thank you to everybody for joining. If you could please like, subscribe. Oh,
time out. Sober Holland said, try playing just one, the best player pro card. The issue is, though, Sober Holland, is if you have cards, you cannot do that. So, like, you cannot just play, like, one. And if you play, like, one rare, you get matched up against 2 limiteds, and you have a 15% disadvantage. So, like, the optimal strategy is have, like, one limited card, because then you get matched up against typically either one limited card or a commons, possibly all commons. But if you have cards, you cannot do that. You can't opt to play a common. You just play your limited or rare or whatever you have, and then you're just like, well, I'm screwed.
God bless you all still playing Rivals. Anyway, thank you to everybody. Please like, subscribe, all that good stuff. I'll be back tomorrow with Keith. Wednesday, I'm still working on. We're looking up on things for that for Wednesday. And then Nanzo is going to come on Friday. Hang out. Now that I've said it out loud, he's got to come. So yeah, thank you everybody, and good luck out there.